When you work at the SEC, the signing board is a mainstay at the farewell parties. They're a real joy. Today on Zippy Point.
Quick Zips by Zippy Point.
Quick and dirty. I'm Brock Romnack and I'm a big fan of yous. So each time I left working at the SEC, I did 2 tours of duty. I had a farewell party and a signing board with the agency's logo, my name, your official name with the middle initial and everything, and title, and the date of departure was on the board, and the signing board was laid out next to the cake so that the attendees of the party could sign their name, maybe write a brief note, just like a high school yearbook. And then it was framed and given to me later. This is a standard practice at the SEC dating back for at least 35 years. Who knows how long it goes back? If you know, let me know. It got to me wondering about a few things. One, do other federal agencies do it? For some reason, I thought this practice was standard across all the federal agencies. After all, it's literally done at every single going away party at the SEC. Anyway, one of the strange things about living in Washington, D.C. is that all your neighbors seem to work for one federal agency or another. So I asked around and I heard that at the other agencies, no one had heard of such a thing. 2, who prints the things? I also asked around to other SEC alumni and I couldn't find out whether the government printing office prints these in bulk for the SEC, or maybe does the SEC order them from outside the building? It's a mystery. So if you happen to know that, let me know. In recent years, the size of their signing boards has grown. I don't have an example of one of those yet, but they're quite a bit larger than the ones that were given out for years and years, for decades. In the old days, the SEC had a branch of the government printing office in the basement. I love going down there to pick up a proposing a release, an adopting a release. Of course, the internet wasn't around back then. This is the late 80s. And so this is where you would go to find out what was happening within the SEC. From what I've read, 30 of the federal agencies, which is about all of them, have had printing offices somewhere in their building. And maybe the SEC still has one. I mean, they do have to print some stuff still, but I don't know. I don't know. If you know, let me know. 3, who signs the board? So this is the funny thing about it. So the signing board is laid out at the going away parties, which are fairly staid affairs. They start about 4 o'clock, but people really don't start showing up till 4:30 p.m. And then the party's over by 5:30 p.m. Most people go home. And so the party's basically an hour long. There's about a half hour of social time followed by a half hour of speeches. I have another Vid-Guide about the going away parties and speeches. The speeches are really nice and a part of what makes working for the government so different than working anywhere else. Anyway, the signing board's just laying there. No one markets them. No one's walking around saying, hey man, sign the signing board, or here's a signing board, you mind signing it? So the number of people that actually attend your party typically is much larger than the number of people that happen to go over there for a piece of cake and sign it. So imagine some staffers may go to hundreds of farewell parties over their career and never sign a single board. A lot of people just don't do it. They forget, or they're just not interested. 4, what do you do with your signing board once you get them? So I never did hang mine up, even though they are framed when they're handed to you. Some people do hang them up proudly in their office or in their home, and for good reason. They're pretty cool. I should note that upon departure, you also get a framed certificate that was signed by your boss and that person's boss, and then a few more bosses perhaps. And it's also signed by the secretary of the SEC and has a gold seal. So here's an example of one of those from Julia Hoffman. Anyways, here's a few examples of what these signing boards look like. Here's mine from 1990. That party was a small affair. I'd been there just less than 2 years. So it was juice and donuts one morning in the pod area with a handful of people. And then when I came back and then I left again at the end of 1998, I was working at the time for an SEC commissioner. So it was a larger affair that was held in the SEC's closed commission room on the floor where the SEC commissioners had their offices, and that was really cool. Many of the CorpFin staff who attended my party probably had never even been on that floor before. Here's one from Louise Welby. She also worked for an SEC commissioner upon her departure. She had been CorpFin with me. My dear friend, all these are dear friends, and my dear friend Julie Hoffman. Julie was on special assignment working on the aircraft carrier and such. And it's funny that hers is the only one of these examples that doesn't have a title on it. It just has the division's name. I have no idea how Daryl Brayman got 2 certificates. They're both for a single departure, but one is signed by the SEC chair and the commissioners. Fancy. And then one is signed by the senior CorpFin staff, like all the rest of us, regular people. Here's Dave Lynn with his hanging up for both of his departures. He did 2 tours of duty also. And for one of his departures, he had 2 signing boards so he could fit all the signatures on them. Popular guy. And then here's one from Meredith Cross from her first tour of duty when she left as deputy director. She obviously was popular. This isn't a competition. And then she had, for a second tour of duty, she returned to the SEC a few years later as a division director. Anyways, drop me a line. Post your pictures of your signing boards in the comment area if you're watching this on YouTube. And then I got this signing board from Ken Lehman, who left the SEC in the early 1990s. He's got Chairman Richard Breeden on it, Commissioner Mary Shapiro, a couple other commissioners. I don't know how he pulled that off. And then here's a signing board from my good friend John Saya. It has A. Richard Towle up the logo, and that's me. Anytime I went to a goodbye party, I always sign these boards by my former boss, just saying best of luck, A. Richard Towle.